Today on Inquirer, COVID-19 positivity rate nationwide climbs to 12.9%. 50 more Filipinos moved out of Sudan to Egypt. LTO clarifies that creating your own license plates is prohibited. And President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s upcoming meeting with United States President Joe Biden would result in more investment and job opportunities, according to Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez. Good afternoon. The COVID-19 positivity rate nationwide climbs to 12.9%. Octa Research Fellow Guido David says the positivity rate in the country increased to 12.9% from 11.7% recorded last April 25. Citing the Department of Health, David notes that there were 506 new COVID-19 cases recorded across the country on April 26. Of that number, 197 cases were reported in Metro Manila, 35 in Rizal, and 29 in Laguna. David adds that Metro Manila's 7-day positivity rate went up to 12.3% from 10.6% recorded on April 25. Malacanang says 50 more Filipinos have been extracted from Sudan and brought to Egypt. To tell us more, here's Sofia Abrugara reporting live. Sofia?
Neil, 50 more Filipinos have been extracted from Sudan and brought to Egypt, Malacanang said Thursday. The Presidential Communications Office said 35 of the 50 were overseas Filipino workers, while 15 were students. The PCO also said that all 50 were safely brought to Egypt with the help of Filipinos in Sudan, as well as personnel from the Department of Migrant Workers. A total of around 420 Filipino evacuees are on the way to Egypt from war-torn Sudan, according to Philippine Ambassador to Egypt, Ezedin Tago. Ambassador Tago said in a Thursday interview that 51 evacuees have successfully crossed the Argentine border into Egypt. Around 350 evacuees traveling in 7 buses are within proximity, and 23 more evacuees are still waiting for their security clearances. Tago says that an estimate of 15 evacuees were brought straight to Port Sudan, but that he has yet to ascertain this figure and the status of these evacuees. The Philippine Embassy in Egypt also plans to deploy an additional 1 to 2 buses over the next couple of days. Department of Migrant Workers Chief Susan Ople also maintains that those who are not in possession of any passport or identity card will still be given aid, and that their documents will be taken care of by Department of Foreign Affairs when they reach the border. Ambassador Tago reports, however, that his and Vice Consul Boher Kapati's efforts to issue travel documents to paperless OFWs in Sudan have been a logistical challenge, but that they are striving to extend assistance to all affected Filipinos. There are a total of around 725 Filipino migrants in Sudan, according to a Tuesday statement by DMW Chief Ople. Ambassador Tago also notes that some Filipinos have actually opted to stay in the conflict-stricken country, which has become their second home for many years. Tago explains that these OFWs may have commitments in Sudan and that they hope the country will stabilize soon, although the situation is not encouraging. While talks of another ceasefire are ongoing, Tago pointed out that similar promises of peace have often been interrupted and undermined by conflict. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres previously called on involved political leaders, the Sudanese Armed Forces, and the Rapid Support Forces to silence the guns and to choose a permanent ceasefire. Sudan's political factions previously agreed in late 2022 to form a new transitional government in April of this year, but this accord was discontinued due to the current conflict. That's all from me, Neil. Back to you.
That's Sofia Abrugara reporting live. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources says that the environmental damage caused by the Oriental Mindoro oil spill has reached 7 billion pesos. The DENR says the estimated damage covers mangrove areas, seagrass beds, and coral reefs. The estimated damage also does not include the loss of livelihood, with the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council reporting that agricultural losses has reached nearly 3.9 billion pesos. Oil tanker MT Princess Empress sank in the waters of Oriental Mindoro on February 28. It carried with it 800,000 liters of oil and has caused a widespread loss of livelihood in the province and surrounding areas. Next on Inquirer Today. LTO clarifies creating your own license plates is prohibited. Philippine Coast Guard says no leakage found in Chinese vessels stranded in Eastern Samar. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s upcoming meeting with U.S. President Joe Biden will result in more investment and job opportunities, according to Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez. And ongoing water interruptions in parts of Metro Manila and Cavite may be extended. This Inquirer Today will be back shortly.
1, 2, 3.
A giant camera?
I'm Jovel Lorenzo. I'm a professional photographer. I'm 52 years old. Gumagamit ako ng street box camera. Nagkasayaw ako. Hot legs ako before. Tapos, nagdumami ng mga shows namin. Tapos, one time, sa sobrang hilig ko sa sayaw talaga, nagkasakit ako. Nagka-mild stroke ako.
In order for Jovel to recover, he was prohibited from dancing for a year until a new opportunity presented itself.
Buti lang, medyo bata-bata pa ako noong time na yun. So, naka-recover naman ako. Pero nung na-stroke ako, hindi ako pwede magsayaw ng 1 year. So, pinag-aral ako ng isang kapatid ko na sabi ko, Jubel, may nagkaklase ng photography sa Mowel Fund. Sumasama ako doon sa Hot Legs pare, pero hindi ako nagsasayaw, nanonood lang ako ng shows nila. Habang nanonood ako shows nila, practice ako ng photography. Sinushoot ko sila, yung mga guests nila, sinushoot ko. Tapos yun ang pambayad ko ng film. Yun ang ginagawa ko para matuto ako ma-practice ko yung photography ko. Yun, tapos tuloy-tuloy na yun. Hanggang sa naging magazine photographer na ako, nagkasayaw pa rin, tapos magazine. Tapos hanggang sa nawala na yung sayaw, nagmamagazine na talaga. Naging photographer na ako full-time. Until now, nag-shoot pa rin ako sa magazine hanggang ngayon.
When the pandemic hit in 2020, Jovel got into box cameras.
Ngayon ko lang nalaman yung street box camera, kung paano siya gamitin. So nakita ko lang siya sa website or sa YouTube. Habang nanonood ako, nakita ko lang siya. So parang na-interesado ako kung paano nila ginagawa. Parang, maganda. Parang maganda yung process kung paano nila ginagawa yung image. During that time, pandemic naman, yung time na yun. So wala kang ginagawa. So, try akong gumawa ng camera nang nakita ko sa net. So parang, okay to parang bago. Kasi hindi ko pa ginagawa. Kasi unti-unti ko siya nagawa ko yung box with all of the yung mga component niya, yung basa-basa. Inartehan ko pa, ilalabas ko yung picture sa gilid para mas parang inisip ko na yung ginawa ko doon, inisip ko na pwedeng i-offer pag nawala na yung pandemic. Pwede ko offer sa tao para may trabaho pa ako.
Jovel went to Batangas during the height of the pandemic and thought of a way to practice using his box camera. He started to work on his project called the 14-Day Quarantine Series, where he would take portraits of people in their everyday lives using his box camera. The street box camera was invented in 1888 and was widely used after the First World War. Compared to digital cameras we use nowadays, the process of taking a photo on a street box camera is quite different.
Kuha ng box, diba? Box. Ginagawa ko una, yung sitters, paupoy ko ng komportable, kailangan komportable sila. Kasi hindi sila gagalaw ng ilang seconds eh. Kasi pag nagbago sila ng pwesto, wala ka na, hindi naman sila makukuha ng maayos. Di pag nakaupo na sila komportable, pupunta na ako sa likod ng camera. Ayusin ko na yung frame. I-focus mo na. Pag lock mo ganon, isasara ko na yung pinto, i-close ko na yung lente, kasi nga, open pa ako nun. Tapos, ipapasok ko na yung kamay ko sa loob, kuha ko ng papel, ilagay ko sa loob, isasara ko, babalik ko sa focus. Tapos, pupunta ko sa unahan, eto na, kukuha na kita. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1,001. Pak. Kuha na yun siya.
Minutes after taking a photo, you will be able to see what it looks like. The initial output is a negative photo processed with chemicals right inside the camera. The negative is then brought to a dark room for Jovel to develop into a positive image.
Nagustuhan naman ng mga tao. Gustuhan nila yung, dati parang hindi na alam kung paano nga kung ginagawa yung mga bagay-bagay. Doon sila na nababother kung paano po ginawa. Kasi nga ang film, disiplina talaga yon. Pagka nag-shoot ka, kailangan perfect na talaga. Yung framing mo, kailangan eksakto na, eksakto sa requirements ng gagamit. Kailangan ang pag-aaral lang sa mga bata na gustong yung ginagawa ko. Pag-aaralan nila, unti-unti, huwag sila jump na. Babasahin mo rin yung paggalaw ng tao, parang gano'n. Kung anong ngiti nila, kung saan sila maganda, parang gano'n. Titingnan mo pa rin. Kung saan sila maganda, doon mo sila bibitigan. Ang discipline ng ginagawa ko sa akin sarili, isa camera pa lang, i-perfect mo na.
The Land Transportation Office clarifies that creating your own license plate is prohibited. This comes after the agency disclosed on Wednesday that it is seeing a possible shortage of car license plates by June and July, pending procurement to replenish its supply. LTO Chief J.R. Tugade says that the printing and making of own license plates are not allowed.
Bawal po mag-print ng sariling plaka. Bawal po gumawa ng sariling plaka. Ang natukoy ko po doon po sa nabanggit ko ay dalawang uri po ng plaka. Meron po tayong temporary plate at meron rin po tayong improvised plate. Pero nais ko lang po ulitin ulit, bawal po mag-print ng sariling plaka.
According to Tugade, temporary plates refer to plates provided by car dealers to brand new automobiles and motorcycles. Temporary plates contain the conduction sticker for cars and motor vehicle file number for motorcycles. Meanwhile, Tugade explains that improvised plates refer to substitute plates used by vehicle owners who either had their official plate stolen, lost, mutilated, or broken. Improvised plates are obtained by going to the LTO office to seek an authorization to use an improvised plate. The Philippine Coast Guard says that no leakage has been found in the Chinese vessel carrying nickel ore which has been stranded in Eastern Samar. John Eric Mendoza reports.
Authorities say that no leakage was found inside the bulk carrier from China which ran aground in Eastern Samar. This was the result of the Philippine Coast Guard and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources ocular inspection to MV High 168. Authorities found no traces of oil spill in the area. MV High 168 ran aground in the vicinity waters approximately 2.7 nautical miles of the shoreline of Barangay Solangan in Gian Town on April 18. The said vessel was loaded with 55,000 metric tons of nickel ore. The vessel was en route to China from Homonhon Island in Giwan when it encountered big waves that brought the ship to a shallow portion of the sea. PCG said the ship remains in the area as of Thursday. A salvage team from Singapore is expected to arrive in the area on Thursday. After the pullout of the bulk carrier, the PCG will conduct another hull assessment while DENR will also evaluate the condition of corals at the marine protected area near the vicinity waters for damage claims. This was not the first time that a Chinese vessel encountered a problem in Gian Town. On January 26, Kaidai 899, a supply vessel with 7 crew, drifted on the island village of Suluan, which faces the Pacific Ocean. For INQUIRER.net, this is John Eric Mendoza.
House of Representatives Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez says President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s upcoming meeting with United States President Joe Biden would result in more investments and job opportunities. Romualdez says the meeting between the two leaders would bolster the bilateral relations between the two nations at a crucial time for economic recovery and security concerns. Romualdez adds that an improved alliance between the two countries would contribute to President Marcos's vision for economic growth that would provide jobs and livelihood for the Filipinos. Romualdez has been in the U.S. to meet with American lawmakers and other officials ahead of Marcos' trip on April 30. Marcos is expected to meet Biden on May 1. Ongoing water interruptions in parts of Metro Manila and Cavite may be extended. Maynilad Water Services Incorporated says that water interruptions in parts of Parañaque City, Muntinlupa City, Pasay City, Las Piñas City, and Cavite may extend the initial target date set on May 16. Maynilad Corporate Communications Head Jennifer Rufo attributes this to decreased efficiency in Maynilad's Putatan water plants due to prolonged exposure to highly turbid water from Laguna Lake. Turbidity refers to the concentration of sediment in the water. Rufo says 55 mobile water tankers and 86 stationary water tanks have been deployed to severely affected areas. Rufo asserts that amid ongoing cutoffs, no area in Maynilad's concession should go 24 hours without water. Rufo clarifies that water interruptions should only range from 7 to 20 hours, with longer disruptions in areas with higher elevation. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Ervin Santiago ng Bandera. Ervin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Proud na ibinalita ng kapamilya actress na si Elise Hoson na nalampasan nila ng kanyang partner na si Makoy De Leon ang lahat ng problemang sumubok sa kanilang relasyon. Okay na raw sila ngayon ng aktor after nilang maghiwalay ng ilang buwan dahil sa ilang personal na rason na ayaw na niyang idetalye sa madlang people para na rin sa ikatatahimik ng lahat. Ayon kay Elise, masasabi niyang mas tumatag pa ang kanilang relasyon ngayon ni Makoy matapos pagdaanan ang kanilang naging problema bilang live-in partners. Sa ngayon, ang focus daw nila ni Makoy ay ang pag-aalaga kay baby Feliz. Ang chika pa nga ni Elise, napakabait na bata ng kanilang anak lalo na kapag kailangan na nitong matulog. Wala raw silang problema sa bagets.
So okay na talaga kayo ni Makoy? Nagbalikan na talaga?
We're happy. I think in any kind of relationship, you're gonna have to stumble on a few roadblocks. Marami pang dadating na mas mahirap sa amin. So I think we're happy na ito, nalagpasan natin.
Niligawan ka ba niya?
Yun ang sabi ko sa kanyang huwag niyang kakalimutan na kahit wala namang pinag-awayan, yung sweetness dapat nandyan pa din. So totoo lang actually, bukod sa scheduling, ang pinakamahirap is keeping the family alive and together. Kasi it's an effort for both people.
At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks Neil!
Maraming salamat, Ervin. INQUIRER.net wants to hear from you. Be part of our reader survey and help us understand how you want us to meet your needs. To participate, scan the QR code flashed on your screens or visit www.inq.news/readersurvey. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Catch INQUIRER Today live weekdays at 5 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good afternoon.